Welcome and thank you very much everyone watching this tutorial. This tutorial is about public policy analysis and implementation. Public policy analysis and implementation is a course, and actually it is a vast course that consists about 8 chapters, and we will be dealing with each chapter in different videos in sequence in this channel. If you are interested to follow the videos in sequence, then subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications whenever I upload videos. Actually, my channel is not just limited to tutorials on public policy analysis. I have different content on different courses, like introduction to development management, and I hope I will prepare videos or video tutorials on different courses times into the future, and there are video tutorials on research, research methodologies, how to use statistical softwares like Stata and SPSS for data analysis, and there are also contents of language. Those of you who are interested to learn about language, English-Amharic language, then you can get my language content in this channel. For today, we will be discussing about the first chapter of the course, Public Policy Analysis and Implementation. Therefore, the chapter is about the fundamental notion, the fundamental concept of public policy. To understand what we mean by public policy, let us have a basic discussion about how public policy came into existence, and this will take us to the ancient time human civilization, that is a pre-political world. In a pre-political world, humans were few, and there were no government. In the ancient time, the number of the population in the world was few, and there was no government. The social groups were loose. Social groups were loose, and people are scattered there and there over the world. And humans lived in a family groups as part of extended clans. There were tribal organizations and clans and extended families. And therefore the livelihood was of a nomadic kind, based on hunting and gathering. People hunt small animals, insects, fish, and gather fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts, like that. And the life was simple, at that time in the early human civilization. But as resources become scarce, people had to find a better way. As the resources that people freely get in the form of hunting, in the form of gathering, become scarce, and therefore people has to find another solution for the scarcity of resource, and they start to domesticate animals. Animal domestication was started, and the crop cultivation started. Cropping, growing crops for food. However, there was still anarchy. Anarchy was the silent characteristics of the society in the ancient times, and it means that there is no authority from above. There is no ruling. There is no rule from above, but people. There are voluntary corporations who seize resources and defend their resources, without regulation from above. No hierarchy, no authority, no government, but people in a given place and organize themselves and define their boundaries and own a resource, and then defend that resource by their voluntary cooperation and by their own will. Then violation at that time, violation of rights, theft, disorder, and instability were common. The selfishness of human nature brought greediness. People hoard resources for themselves in groups on individual base and defend those resources. But the powerful, those who have power, become powerful over others. They take from the others, and theft. Okay, theft was widespread. Okay, theft was widespread. Disorder, instability. Someone who has a power, someone who has a force can take from the forceless, powerless. Then greedy, selfishness and greediness become the apparent characteristics of the society wherein anarchy was the level of civilization. Then the situation triggered people to start to live in a more organized groups. Okay, anarchy didn't address their common needs and individual needs. Okay, there was no order, there was no law. Therefore, people has to find another solution. Look, from tribal organization to anarchy, and then from anarchy to hierarchy. Okay, people are look the steps, and this group is this organized group is become takes different forms and at different times and different places. Okay. And it can be monarchy, it can be in terms of dictatorship, wherein individuals control a given community and make laws that abide for all. Okay, the different forms of organized groups established. So this group, there has been a process by which people made mutually beneficial decisions. The groups are basically created for mutually beneficial decisions. Okay, even though sometimes dictatorship and autocratic groups can be formed. In further progress, humans engaged to establish a political society in order to administer justice, without which there can be no peace among them, no safety, no mutual intercourse. It means that the groups grow. The metamorphosis of forming a group is become advanced and start to establish a political society. Political society created a political society wherein justice is quite required. Administration of justice and the delivery of justice is quite required. Then those political societies, it is this political society that started to form a government. Okay, then government is start to be formed to govern the ever advancing political society, owning resources. Okay, it's a resource that is continuously getting scarce, and to govern human relationships, government started to be formed. Okay, therefore, government first evolved as people discovered that protection was easier if they stayed together in groups, and if they all agreed that one or some in the group should have more power than others. Therefore, government is a result of the public demand, okay, the demand of the people that we have to stay together, and when we are staying together, there should be a group that should have more power over the rest of the people and could govern, okay, the people. Governments need to not only protect their citizens from one another, okay, from the powerful oppressing the powerless, and the mighty suppressing the forceless, okay, but it needs to organize to prevent outside attacks. The government is shouldered with the responsibility to protect it is governed from the external attacks or external aggression. Government provides leadership, maintains order, provides public service, provides national security, provides economic security, and provides economic assistance. Those are the roles government is entitled with. Governments are responsible for providing services that individuals cannot effectively provide for themselves. Okay, government is formed as an answer to the public demands, okay, or public questions that cannot be addressed at individual level. Okay, but the question is, how do governments materialize all these resources? How government implements all these responsibilities? Okay, governments do not, and the point is that governments do not undertake their roles arbitrarily. Governments do not execute their roles randomly, okay, without plan. Rather, governments make policies to address the problems and the demands of the people. This is where policy comes into existence. Government is formed to address the needs of the people, and the government does not execute its roles arbitrarily or randomly. Rather, it has to make policies to answer the questions of the people, and this is where policy comes into place. Policy is therefore a set of unorchestrated plans for action followed by government. Okay, policy. Hence, the government has to make policies. Those policies are called public policies. Public policy means government policy. Okay, when government is to effectively address the public interest, if it can answer public questions, it has to make plans, and those plans are policies, and the policies of the government are public policies. Okay, whatever form of government, it can be monarchical government, it can be democratic government, it can be military dictatorship government. Policy is always there. Public policy have been formulated and implemented wherever and whenever governments have existed. Okay, any form of government in place, then policy is always there. Yet the quality of public policy differs among governments of different countries. There can be a dictatorial government in a given country, there can be a democratic government in a given country, and the public policies in those two countries differ in quality and in terms of its concern for the public problems. Okay, as you can easily understand, democratic government is the government is at public centered and built around public interests. But when you come to dictatorial and military governments, most of the time they are built around the interest of the few, and they are not addressing, or they are not well at addressing the demand of the vast majority of its people. But mind, both of them have policies. Okay, therefore it is the quality of policies that makes difference between and or among countries in the world. Okay, there is no secret for the development and the underdevelopment of countries in the world. What makes difference is that the quality of the public policy that governments of each and every country outlines to address the demand of it is governed. Public policy expresses the goals, the decisions, and the actions adopted by government for political, social, and economic management. Therefore, public policy is established for political, social, and economic arenas, okay, in a given country. In general, public policy is defined as the sum of government activities. It is a cumulative summation of government activities, whether acting directly or through agencies, as those actions have an influence on the lives of citizens. Therefore, every government activity is based on policy direction. That is why we say the sum of government activities, okay, the collection of government activities, whether they are acting directly through government or through government agencies, those actions that have influence on the lives of citizens are called public policy. However, there are definitions put forward by different scholars depending upon the perspective that they see public policy from. Then underneath the following are some of the definitions of public policy by different writers. Okay, It is not necessary to mention the names and the years in which the writers have defined public policy in the way we will see, but let us focus on the definitions that are given. Public policy refers to decisions and actions that the government takes when addressing public policy or collective issues. Therefore, public policy is it is a decision or action that is connected to public issues or collective issues. Okay, as we have said, government is there to address public issues or collective issues, and to address the collective issues and or public interests, it has to make decisions and it has to take actions. That is why public policy is defined as the decisions and actions that the government takes when addressing public or collective issues. Public policy is the program of action incepted and implemented by a public institution to respond to a social problem. Public policy is started and implemented. It is initiated by public institution and it is implemented by a public institution. Basically, it responds to social problems. It responds to social interests. And when it responds through public institution, to government institution, through government institution. Okay? The government institutions incept, okay, public policy and implement public policy. Public policy is a set of principles, priorities, regulations, and courses of actions designed, promulgated, and implemented by a government entity concerning specific issues. Therefore, public policy is a set of values, is a set of principles, is a set of rules. Okay? Priorities, it prioritizes activities. Okay? Public policy doesn't arbitrarily set activities. It prioritizes which one is most demanded, which one is in the best interest of the society. Okay? Therefore, priorities in the activities of the government, public concerns. Okay? And there are regulations, course of actions. Okay? And public policies should be promulgated, they broadcasted, they should be distributed, okay, they should be clear to the public, they should be communicated, okay, and implemented. Public policies are the answers that the government provides for the needs of the government. Okay, the government means the general public, the mass. Therefore, when the government have problem or needs, okay, then the government has to give answer, and the means by which government gives answer to the public questions or the needs of the public is through public policy. It can be in the form of rules, it can be in the form of establishing institutions, it can be in the form of provision of services, it can be in the form of providing public goods, it can be in the form of delivering public services. Okay? Actions selected by government to guide and determine present and future decisions. Therefore, public policy is an action. Okay? Or public policies are an actions selected by government is to guide and determine present and future decisions. Okay? To make decisions today and to impact the decisions of the future, government has to select actions, and those actions should be guided by the public policy. Okay, that is why public policy is defined like that. Public policy is the administrative steps. Okay, public policies are the administrative steps by executive branch. Okay, public policy is made by executive branch of the government. Okay, in a way that is consistent with the legal framework of the state. Public policies should be contradictory to the legal framework of a given country. It has to comply to the constitutions and to the fundamental values, customs, and habits of the public itself. Okay, therefore, but the point that you have to put in your mind here is that it is the executive branch of the government that is responsible for making and implementation of public policy. Hence, it is what public administrators execute. Public administrators assume public offices to execute, to implement implement policies. Okay, it guides administrative action and decisions. Public policies, okay, policies once made, they guide actions and decisions. Okay, public policy gives the overall guide by setting up boundaries or limits and the directions within which administrative actions will take place. Exactly. Public policy consists of a broad framework of actions that are cultural, social, political, or economic in nature, typically created, funded, and enforced by a government agency. Okay? As we have said, public policy covers different facets of human civilization in a given country. When the government formulates public policy, it should take into account different aspects, whether cultural, political, social, economic, okay, and fund it, implement it, okay, through a governmental agency. Policy is defined as a matter of either the desire for change or desire to protect something from change. Therefore, policy is of two concerns. One, the concern of public policy is to bring about change. On the other hand, it protects something not to be changed. Okay, it protects. We will see in the later part of this chapter. But it is, public policy can be positive or negative. In its positive character, public policy strives to bring about change. In its negative dimension, it protects something not to be changed. Okay, it protects something from change.